This documentary short is sponsored in part by.
Are you tired of working for someone else? Do you dream of starting your own business? Download this free ebook, How to Start a Business in 2023. A quick guide checklist to start a business in your state. Simple, straightforward, and completely free. Take the first step towards being your own boss. Download How to Start a Business in 2023. Link to download located in the description below.
Malcolm X was influential.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man?
Charismatic.
Well, I think all Negroes are blood brothers. Every Negro I know is my blood brother.
And controversial.
If he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
In this documentary short, we outline the life of Malcolm X. May 18, 1925. Malcolm X's early life was marked by a series of hardships and challenges that would ultimately shape his worldview and activism. He was born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska, in 1925, the fourth of 7 children. 1929. Malcolm's family home is burned down by white supremacists. 1931. His father, Earl Little, was a Baptist minister and an outspoken advocate for black rights, but his activism made him a target of racist groups like the Ku Klux Klan. When Malcolm was just 6 years old, his father was brutally murdered by white supremacists. After his father's death, Malcolm's family struggled to make ends meet. His mother, Louise, was a homemaker who suffered from mental illness and was eventually institutionalized in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Malcolm and his siblings are sent to live with various relatives and foster families. 1940. Malcolm drops out of school at the age of 15 and moves to Boston to live with his half-sister, Ella. 1941. Malcolm moves to New York City and becomes involved in petty crime. He worked a series of odd jobs, including as a shoe shiner and a railroad porter, but he was never able to escape the poverty and violence that surrounded him. 1946. At the age of 20, Malcolm was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison for burglary. 1948. While in prison, Malcolm converts to the Nation of Islam and changes his name to Malcolm X. It was in prison that he began to transform his life. He became a voracious reader, devouring books on history, philosophy, and religion. Malcolm was drawn to the Nation of Islam, a black separatist movement that preached self-reliance, black pride, and the establishment of a separate, black nation within the United States. 1952. Malcolm is released from prison and becomes a minister in the Nation of Islam. Malcolm's experiences in prison and his conversion to the Nation of Islam would have a profound impact on the rest of his life. He emerged from prison in 1952 as a changed man, with a new name, Malcolm X, and a renewed sense of purpose. He became a minister in the Nation of Islam and a charismatic speaker, using his platform to advocate for black rights and to denounce white supremacy and oppression. 1957. Malcolm marries Betty Shabazz and becomes the national spokesman for the Nation of Islam. 1963. Malcolm delivers his famous Message to the Grassroots speech in Detroit, Michigan.
You haven't got a revolution that doesn't involve bloodshed, and you're afraid to bleed. I said you're afraid to bleed. Long as the white man send you to Korea, you bled. He sent you to Germany, you bled. He sent you to the South Pacific to fight the Japanese, you bled. You bleed for white people. But when it comes time to seeing your own churches being bombed and little black girls murdered, you haven't got no blood.
In 1963, Malcolm X organized a demonstration in front of the police station in Harlem to protest the police brutality against African Americans and to demand that the police uphold the rights of black people to due process of law. This event was part of Malcolm X's larger campaign to raise awareness about the systemic racism and oppression faced by African Americans in the United States. Malcolm X and his supporters gathered in front of the police station, holding signs and chanting slogans like "Freedom or Death" and "Justice for All." They were met by a large number of police officers who tried to disperse the crowd and intimidate the protesters. Despite the police presence, Malcolm X remained calm and resolute in his demands. He emphasized the importance of nonviolent protest and urged his followers to maintain their composure and dignity in the face of the police's attempts to provoke them. The demonstration in front of the Harlem police station was just one of many actions taken by Malcolm X to highlight the injustices faced by African Americans. His tireless advocacy for civil rights and his uncompromising stance against racism and oppression made him a powerful and influential figure in the struggle for equality in America. 1964. Malcolm leaves the Nation of Islam and forms his own organization, the Organization of Afro-American Unity. February 21, 1965. Malcolm X is assassinated while giving a speech in New York City.
Apparently, two men approached the speaker's rostrum and discharged shots at him from apparently very close range.
Yes, I turned around quickly, and the next thing I saw was Malcolm falling back in a dead faint.
I heard shots, and I saw people crawling on the floor. And so I got down too. Then when I was looking out, and I saw someone look in amazement to the front, I knew they had shot my husband.
Malcolm X proposed the idea of taking the case of African Americans to the United Nations in order to bring international attention and pressure to the issue of racial discrimination and inequality in the United States. He believed that the U.S. government would be forced to take action if they were held accountable on a global stage. However, this idea was never put into action. Despite the civil rights movement achieving significant legislative victories, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, African Americans still face systemic racism and discrimination. In fact, recent data shows that Black Americans are disproportionately affected by poverty, police brutality, and mass incarceration, highlighting the ongoing need for systemic change and justice. Malcolm X's call to take the issue to the United Nations remains relevant and urgent today.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like. It really helps us in understanding the kind of content you want to see. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We are always posting new documentary shorts, and we don't want you to miss out. If you have any suggestions for future videos or want to learn about someone specific, let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you and creating content that you want to see. Stay fearless. This documentary short is sponsored in part by...
Are you tired of working for someone else? Do you dream of starting your own business? Download this free ebook, How to Start a Business in 2023. A quick guide checklist to start a business in your state. Simple, straightforward, and completely free. Take the first step towards being your own boss. Download How to Start a Business in 2023. Link to download located in the description below.